The cave dweller. You've probably seen countless videos on it, or you have experienced it yourself. And you probably think you understand the creature more than anyone. But there is one question left unanswered. Who is the cave dweller? Hello everyone. My name is Evie, and today we are going to be covering the lore of the cave dweller. But we have to start somewhere, so let's finish up this intro and get to the good stuff. What is the cave dweller based off of? Let's start here. This question alone is very simple. In Gargan's video, he directly covered what the dweller is based off. The cave sounds of Minecraft. But that was the first cave dweller on Java. So what about the one we're talking about on Bedrock? Well, it's probably just the same reason, as this Bedrock one is just a remake most likely. So to answer this question, the cave dweller is based off of cave sounds. Not an actual creature, its design is completely unique. Pretty simple, right? But now we have to move on to the more complicated questions. The dweller's reproduction. While this isn't an important topic game-related, I do think that it's a must if we are covering the full lore of the dweller. But first, I have to point out something. In-game, when holding a dweller egg, you place it down, the cave dweller spawns. But when you place another, it says, there cannot be more than one cave dweller. Now let's really think about that. There cannot be more than one cave dweller. Even in survival mode, let's say you defeat a cave dweller, a new one spawns in, but it's a different one. But it also comes from the same dwelling. So let's put this together. After looking at the evidence, I can conclude that dwellers reproduce asexually, meaning that each one is a female, which is why I refer to the dweller as a her. And also, since there is only ever one, we can assume that a dweller is cannibalistic. For my personal headcanon, I believe that a dweller lays 10 to 3 dweller eggs, but when they hatch, it sends a signal through the dwelling, alerting the cave dweller of their presence. The dweller then rapidly flees back to the dwelling to eradicate as many as it can, but it always will leave one. Then this blends into our next segment, life of a cave dweller. Upon escaping its mother, the baby dweller must flee the region, fast, for the rest of the mother's life. This younger dweller lives alone, only ever preying on dumber prey, since it knows that the larger dweller would be hunting a human, which the young dweller knows are too dangerous. But however, when this dweller dies, the new dweller then takes on the challenge of the human, knowing that it doesn't have competition. Now let's say the dweller doesn't get killed in her lifetime. Well, according to my canon, the dweller lives for 200 years at most. So it would eventually die from old age after a while. But anyways, let's continue to our next segment. What do the cave sounds mean? I've only ever heard so much of the different sounds Gargan has made. He did also say that the cave dweller likes to play with its food inside of the book in-game. It says that the dweller uses them to get a reaction. But what if it's not for a reaction? Well, the sounds I want to cover are the minecarts, the screech, the voice, and the heartbeat. Let's start with the minecarts. So what I like to imagine for this one is that since the younger dweller is more naive, it messes up a lot, and sometimes it stumbles and accidentally pushes a minecart off its rail, sending it falling down below. Next we have the screech. So you know when you're in a cave just chilling, then you hear an ear-shattering sound from her. Well, what I think this is for is rage. Upon failing to catch a prey, it gets really mad, causing it to screech in annoyance. Or maybe when it gets seriously injured. Or also during egg laying. Now her voice. If you get close enough to the dweller, you can hear that she has a very croaked and raspy voice. This could be caused from being stuck underground for so long. The fumes she inhales from coal and other minerals, maybe even lava, completely destroys her lungs. Another reason I think this is because when you look up close at the model, you can see how dark her lungs and other organs are, hence causing this raspiness. Finally, let's do the heartbeat, and I'm going to be quick on this one. It's not yours, it's hers. Upon being spotted, the dweller gets nervous because she doesn't know if she will fail in pursuit. But as it accelerates, that fear converts into anger, causing the heart to beat faster and faster until eventually it pursues. Now let's do one last topic. Why is she afraid of the surface? Now, one of the most well-known things about the cave dweller is that she absolutely hates the surface. She's afraid of it, but why is she? Well, let's look closely at her. Look at her skin. Isn't it thin? Well, I think she's afraid of the surface because it hurts. Her skin is so thin that the sun can easily get through and burn her alive. Even during night, she feels weak from the atmosphere. So she moved to the caves to avoid this problem, where she got her name, the cave dweller. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment for a part 2 and what you want covered.